Well, welcome to today's Bible Pause, May 6, 2020. I want to start off by saying this: timing is important. Now, timing is more important to some of you than others. Some of you like to arrive early, no matter what the appointment or event or meeting is that you're attending. Some of you like to arrive just on time, while others, well, you eventually arrive. We can also get impatient when it comes to timing. How long will it be till we get back to normal? How long will each reopening phase last? I don't think I can handle this social distancing much longer. We also have a hard time trusting people when it comes to timing. Why does this person or that person get to decide when we get to regather as a church? I think we're going too slow, or I think we're going too fast. But here's the deal. Timing can be tricky. Sometimes we get it right. We often get it wrong. We have to adjust it. We have to tweak it. And sometimes even apologize for it. And if there was any person today who was able to deal with what we're going through with perfect timing, they would be very well sought after and very well paid. And while that person doesn't exist, we don't live under the care of just wishful, random, fateful actions or just kind of uncertain timing. We live under the care of a God whose timing is perfect. So our Bible pause, as related to God's perfect timing, is found in John chapter 11. And in this chapter, we find Jesus and his disciples receiving word from Mary and Martha that their brother Lazarus is sick. And as we read, we discover he's not just sick, he's very, very sick. He's close to death. And they call for Jesus to come. And it says in the text that Lazarus is someone that Jesus loved very dearly. And he's close to death. So Mary and Martha, you got to come, Jesus, you got to come now. But here was Jesus' response in John chapter 11, verse 5. It says, "Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that he was sick, he stayed 2 more days in the place where he was." He loved them, but yet he waited. That's strange timing. Then it says in verse 17, "So when Jesus finally came, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days." So he waits on purpose. And when he finally arrives, Lazarus has been dead for several days. And Jesus' strange and seemingly uncaring timing doesn't escape the scrutiny and critique of Mary and Martha. In verse 21, it says, Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And in verse 32, "Then when Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, 'Lord, if you had been here on time, my brother would have not died.'" Jesus, why did you take so long? Why did you wait? You knew how urgent it was. You knew how sick he was. Why? Was Jesus late? No way. He was right on time. As a matter of fact, if you go back to the beginning of the story, when Jesus was first told about Lazarus' sickness, he made this statement in verse 4. He said to the messengers and to his disciples, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God may be glorified through it." You see, God's glory required a 4-day waiting period. That was the timing. And it goes on to say, when Jesus arrived at the tomb of Lazarus, in verse 39 it says, Jesus said, "Take away the stone." And then Martha, the sister of Lazarus who is dead, said to Jesus, "Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead 4 days." And Jesus said to her, "I'm aware of the timing." And he said to her, "Did I not say to you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God?" And then Jesus, through the power of God, miraculously raises Lazarus from the dead. It's an incredible event. And in verse 45, it says, "Then many of the Jews who had come to Mary and had seen the things that Jesus did believed in Jesus." As you look at this story on a human level, it's puzzling. It's puzzling to me. Jesus' actions don't seem to square up with our understanding of God. If Jesus loved Mary and Martha and Lazarus, he would had rushed right away to help them. That's what I would have done. That's what you would have done. But let's keep in mind that we are human and Jesus is God. It's important to our understanding of timing to know that God isn't like us. He doesn't always follow the timeline like we want him to, but he never gets it wrong, and he never needs a reboot. God often makes us wait because he has a higher good or a bigger picture in view. And this bigger picture always includes his glory to be on display and to be displayed through us. It has been said that we can't draw a line from God's heart to the clock to your problem. You see, we can't always see the connection between the three, but rest assured that God's timing is perfect. Mary and Martha learned that God's never arriving late. He never arrives late. So the question is, what are you waiting on God for today? Perhaps a new job? Maybe when the church will regather for worship? You're waiting on some financial provision or family reconnection, the freedom to travel, direction for ministry plans, etc., etc., etc. What are you waiting on for God today? As you're waiting on these things, I have good news for you. God has perfect timing. He's never early and he's never late. And his glory is always worth the wait.